Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails passage of agriculture reform bills in Parliament, describes it as a watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture. Prime Minister reiterates that system of minimum support price and government procurement will continue. Union Minister Rajnath Singh condemns a ruckus created by opposition members in Rajya Sabha, accuses them of misleading farmers. COVID recovery rate improves to 79.68%. Prime Minister to lay foundation stone of 9 highway projects worth over 14,000 crore rupees in Bihar through video conferencing tomorrow. And in Italian Open tennis, Simona Halep reaches the final of women's singles, beating Garbine Muguruza in the first semi-final clash. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the passage of 2 farm bills in Parliament today is a watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture. In a series of tweets, he extended congratulations to the hard-working farmers on the passage of key bills in Parliament, which will ensure a complete transformation of the agriculture sector as well as empower crores of farmers. He said for decades the Indian farmer was bound by various constraints and bullied by middlemen. He added that the bill passed by the Parliament liberate the farmers from such adversities. He said these bills will add impetus to the efforts to double the income of farmers and ensure greater prosperity for them. The Prime Minister said agriculture sector is in desperate need of latest technology that assists the industrious farmers. He said with the passage of the bills, farmers will have easier access to futuristic technology that will boost production and yield better results. Mr. Modi also stressed that the system of minimum support price MSP will remain and the government procurement will continue. He said the NDA government will do everything to support the farmers and ensure a better life for their coming generations. Union Minister Rajnath Singh has condemned a ruckus created by opposition members in Rajya Sabha today and said it is shameful and unfortunate. Briefing media this evening, the minister said it is the responsibility of the ruling side to enable discussions in the House, but it is also the duty of the opposition to maintain decorum. He said that such an incident has never happened in the history of the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha.
डिप्टी चेयरमैन राज्यसभा के उनके साथ जो दुर्व्यवहार हुआ है प्रत्यक्ष सारे देश ने अपनी आंखों से उसे देखा है। सीधे उनके आसन तक चले जाना और आसन तक जाना ही नहीं बल्कि आसन पर जाकर खड़े हो जाना, वहां पर जाकर रूल्स बुक को फाड़ डालना और अन्य भी जो कागजात रखे हुए थे उसे भी फाड़ देना। जहां तक मैं जानता हूं, मैं कह सकता हूं कि संसदीय इतिहास में कभी ऐसी घटना न तो लोकसभा में हुई है न राज्यसभा में हुई।
The minister said the unparliamentary behavior by opposition members against the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha was witnessed by the entire nation and has tarnished the image of parliamentary democracy. He said opposition parties are trying to mislead the nation farmers. He asserted that government is aiming to double the farmers' income and the 2 farm bills passed in Rajya Sabha today are historic and will pave the way in enhancing farmers' income. Mr. Singh said MSP to farmers will continue.
यह दोनों विधेयक किसान और कृषि जगत दोनों के लिए ये ऐतिहासिक हैं। इसे लागू करने से स्वाभाविक रूप से किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ेगी, लेकिन किसानों के बीच गलतफहमी पैदा की जा रही है। एमएसपी समाप्त कर दी जाएगी, एपीएमसी समाप्त कर दी जाएगी। हकीकत यह है कि यह दोनों बिल प्रभावी होने के बाद हमारा किसान अपना माल भारत में जहां भी बेचना चाहता है पूरी आजादी के साथ बेच सकता है, जहां पर भी उसको अच्छी कीमत मिले। न तो एपीएमसी समाप्त हो रही है और न तो एमएसपी समाप्त हो रही है।
On no confidence motion by the opposition against Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh, the minister said the notice has been given to the chairman and he will take a decision on this. Parliament has passed the Farmers Produce, Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020, with Rajya Sabha approving it today amid uproar by the opposition. The House also negated the opposition's amendments to send the bill to the Select Committee. When the Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, Narendra Singh Tomar, was replying to the discussion at 1 p.m., Deputy Chairman Harivansh sought the House's consent to extend the proceedings till the Minister's reply. On it, the members from Congress, TMC, Left, DMK and Aam Aadmi Party demanded that the House should be adjourned and the reply should be taken up tomorrow. However, the Deputy Chairman asked the Minister to continue with his reply. This prompted opposition members to troop into the well, raising slogans against the government. Members from the Congress, Left, TMC, AAP, RJD, DMK and others continued with their protest. The House witnessed an unruly scene. Amid the pandemonium, the Deputy Chairman adjourned the House for 10 minutes till 1:41 p.m. When the House met again, the scene was no different and the chair, guarded by marshals, continued the proceedings and the two bills were passed with voice vote. Speaking on the bills, Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare Narendra Singh Tomar said that the government has taken several steps for doubling the income of farmers after consultations with farmers and states.
किसानों की आमदनी दोगुनी करने के लिए सिलसिलेवार बहुत सारे प्रयास 6 सालों में किए गए। तो न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य के मामले में जब लोकसभा में चर्चा हो रही थी तो इस प्रकार की शंका कुछ मित्रों ने व्यक्त की। उस समय भी मैंने कहा था और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी देश को आश्वस्त किया है कि न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य का इस विधेयक से कोई भी लेना देना नहीं। न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य पर खरीद हो रही थी और आने वाले कल में भी खरीद होती रहेगी।
The two bills aim at increasing the availability of buyers for farmers' produce by allowing them to trade freely without any license or stock limit, resulting in better prices for their produce. They will replace two ordinances promulgated by the central government in June this year. The Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill allows intrastate and interstate trade of farmers' produce beyond the physical premises of the APMC markets. As per the bill, state governments are prohibited from levying any market fee, cess or levy outside the APMC areas. The Farmers' Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill creates a framework for contract farming through an agreement between a farmer and a buyer prior to the production of any farm produce. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar today said the two farm bills passed today will give farmers a chance to sell their produce anywhere for a higher price and will end the farmers' compulsion of selling at APMC. He said farmers will be able to sell wherever they get a higher price. The minister said in a series of tweets that farmers will also get a golden opportunity to get more income from contract farming. Mr. Javadekar has also condemned the opposition parties for their unruly behavior in the Rajya Sabha. BJP President JP Nadda has termed the Farmers' Bill as historic, saying it will be beneficial for farmers. Talking to reporters outside Parliament, Mr. Nadda said the bills passed by the Parliament will give farmers freedom in selling their produce and rid them of middlemen. He alleged that the attitude of the opposition in the Parliament during the passage of the bill was unfortunate and they have insulted the democratic process.
किसानों को आगे बढ़ाने में और उसके उत्पाद का उसको सही दाम मिले, अच्छा दाम मिले, इसकी व्यवस्था की है और पुराने कानून के तहत जिस तरीके से किसान को जकड़ा गया था उससे उसको आजाद कराया है। इसके लिए मैं बधाई देता हूं और देश आगे बढ़ेगा, किसानों को मौका मिलेगा।
Congress and other opposition party members sat in protest inside Rajya Sabha even after the House were adjourned for the day after the passage of two farm bills amid uproar. Members of the Congress, Trinamool Congress, DMK, left parties and some others sat in protest inside the Rajya Sabha chamber even after it was adjourned. Later, they held protest at Mahatma Gandhi statue in Parliament premises after the House passed the two farm bills. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi has attacked the opposition over the ruckus in Rajya Sabha during the passage of the two farm bills today. Talking to media today, Mr. Joshi condemned the opposition for the unruly scene in the House. Another Union Minister, Prakash Javadekar, alleged that the opposition parties have disgraced the Rajya Sabha with their undemocratic action. Meanwhile, opposition parties have moved a no-confidence motion against Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh. India has conducted the highest ever single-day COVID test at over 12,06,000 across the country in the last 24 hours. More than 6 crore 36 lakh COVID-19 tests have been conducted till now. Health Ministry said higher testing leads to early identification of positive cases, timely and effective treatment and low mortality. During the last 24 hours, more than 94,612 COVID patients have recovered. The ministry said the recovery rate of COVID-19 has further improved to 79.68%. The total number of recoveries has reached over 43 lakhs. India's COVID-19 tally has crossed 54 lakh with 92,605 new infections being reported in a day. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of the country is reduced and currently comprises only 18.72% of the total positive cases. Kerala continued to report surge in COVID-19 cases as it confirms 4,696 positive cases today. More from our correspondent.
State Health Minister K.K. Shailaja informed through the official release that 16 more deaths were also confirmed today due to COVID, taking the death toll in the state to 535. 2,751 recoveries were also reported in the state today. Meanwhile, heavy rain continues in many areas of the state. Red alert is issued in 8 districts today. 3 more teams of National Disaster Response Force is being deployed in Wayanad, Malappuram and Thrissur district. As water level in major rivers are rising, shutters of dams are being raised. Alert is issued for people in riverside, low-lying regions and landslide-prone regions. Fishermen are strictly warned from venturing into the sea in Kerala Lakshadweep coast till further instruction. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of 9 highway projects worth 14,258 crore rupees in Bihar through video conferencing tomorrow. These highway projects involve a road length of about 350 kilometers at a cost of 4,258 crore rupees. Prominent road projects are 6-laning of 39-kilometer stretch of Patna Ring Road, 4-laning of Ara Mohania section of NH30, Bakhtiarpur Rajouri section of NH31 and 4-laning of Narayanpur Purnia section of NH131A. Paving the way for development of Bihar, these roads will enhance better connectivity, convenience and economic growth in and around the state. Bihar will get a major boost in bridge sector too, as the Prime Minister will inaugurate 3 mega bridge during the event. The bridges include 4-lane bridge parallel to existing Mahatma Gandhi Setu in Patna, 4-lane bridge over Kosi River and 4-lane bridge parallel to the existing Vikramshila Setu in Bhagalpur. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate the optical fiber internet services where all the 45,945 villages of Bihar will be connected through optical fiber internet service. This project will help in easy availability of digital services like e-education, e-agriculture, telemedicine, tele-law and other social security schemes to all citizens of Bihar at the click of the button. India has provided financial assistance of $250 million as budgetary support to the Maldives government to mitigate the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. A handover ceremony was held today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Maldives government to mark the occasion. Maldives Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid, Finance Minister Ibrahim Amir, High Commissioner Sanjay Sudhir and CEO SBI Male Bharat Mishra were present on the occasion. Speaking on the occasion in Hindi, the Maldives Foreign Minister said India has proved to be a great friend during this difficult time of pandemic.
आज पूरी दुनिया एक ऐसी चुनौती के साथ जूझ रही है जैसी आज तक नहीं हुई, एक ऐसी महामारी जिसने हमें अपनी सीमाओं और अपने घरों को बंद करने को मजबूर किया है। लेकिन हमारे मित्रों ने हमेशा की तरह ये साबित कर दिया कि ये महामारी उन्हें अपने दिल के दरवाजे बंद करने पे मजबूर नहीं कर पाई और भारत ऐसे मुश्किल समय में भी हमारा एक महान मित्र रहा है।
The $250 million budgetary support was a response to the request made by Maldives President Ibrahim Mohammed Soli to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for financial assistance to overcome the difficult economic situation in the Maldives. Our correspondent reports it is being provided under the most favorable terms possible to the government of Maldives. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the Ministry of Ayush and Ministry of Women and Child Development today in New Delhi for controlling malnutrition as a part of Poshan Abhiyan. The MOU will see some time-tested and scientifically proven Ayush-based solutions being adopted for controlling malnutrition in the country. Ayush Secretary Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha and Women and Child Development Secretary Ram Mohan Mishra signed the MOU in the presence of Minister of Women and Child Development Smriti Irani, Minister for WCD. Minister of Ayush Shripad Yeso Nayak joined the ceremony through video conference. Speaking on the occasion, Mrs. Irani said that the collaboration of efforts of both the ministries will go a long way in tackling the problem of malnutrition in mothers and children in the country. She said that Nutri gardens and medicinal gardens will be established in every Anganwadi in near future. Shripad Yeso Nayak said that Ayurveda and other Ayush systems have much to contribute in dealing with mild and moderate malnutrition by way of many specific measures such as right intake of diet by the pregnant women. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
All India Radio presents World News. News and views from across the globe. What happened? What is up next? The newsmakers and the highlights of the day. Every day at 10:20 p.m. in the night. On 100.1 FM, All India Radio.
And now it's over to Gaurav Sharma for a review of today's proceedings in Parliament.
Here is a review of the proceedings in the Parliament today. First, from the Rajya Sabha. The writer is Rajesh Ahuja of UNI. The Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020 and the Farmers' Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020 have been passed in the Parliament, with the Rajya Sabha approving it today amid the uproar by the opposition parties. The House also negated the opposition's amendments to send the bills to the Select Committee. The Lok Sabha had passed the bills earlier. The Rajya Sabha was adjourned for 10 minutes during the discussion when the opposition members, including the Congress, the TMC, the Left and the Aam Aadmi Party, came into the well and started sloganeering and protesting against the two bills. When the House reassembled, the chair was guarded by the marshals, and amid sloganeering and ruckus, the two bills were passed by voice note. Moving the bills, the Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Narendra Singh Tomar described them as historic bills which will bring revolutionary changes in the lives of the farmers across the country. He said the farmers will have the freedom to sell their produce wherever they want. The minister made it clear that the bills are not related to the minimum support price (MSP) and assured that the system will continue. The minister said the farmers across the country dedicated themselves to farming despite the country facing unprecedented COVID-19 infections. Earlier, participating in the discussion on the two bills, several members favoured that they be referred to the Select Committee of the Rajya Sabha for further discussions. Initiating a discussion on the bills, Pratap Singh Bajwa of the Congress alleged that the bills are a move to end the minimum support price system in the country and pave way for corporate houses to take over farmlands. He said the bills are an assault on the soul of the farmers, saying they're ill-conceived. He said the farmers are not illiterates. Mr. Bajwa alleged that once these bills are passed, the corporate houses will take over the farmlands. He said nearly 1 lakh Indians are getting infected with COVID-19 every day. Responding to the criticism by the Congress, Bhupender Yadav of the BJP said there is a need to strengthen trade processing and value addition, which is what the bills propose to do. He said the country is moving forward. He wanted to know why the rural income had reduced over the years when the Congress was in power. He said that a working group on agriculture production set up by the Manmohan Singh government in 2010 had recommended that agriculture produce marketing committees and corporate license monopolies should not be allowed. Other members who participated in the discussion included K.K. Ragesh of the CPIM, Bhupendra Yadav of the BJP, Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress, Tiruchi Siva of the DMK, K.C. Venugopal of the Congress, S.R. Balasubramanian of the AIADMK, Professor Ram Gopal Yadav of the Samajwadi Party, Dr. K. Keshwar Rao of the TRS, V. Vijayasai Reddy of the YSRCP, Ramachandra Prasad Singh of the JDU, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha of the RJD, Dr. Amar Patnaik of the BJD, and Sardar Sukhdev Singh Dhindsa of the Akali Dal. Earlier, the proceedings of the House began with administering the oath of office in secrecy to the former Prime Minister and the newly elected Rajya Sabha member H.D. Deve Gowda. Welcoming him, the Chairman Venkaiah Naidu observed that Mr. Deve Gowda is a good addition to the House. He said, one of the senior-most politicians in the country has come to our House. Replying to a discussion on the debate on the bill, the Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Narendra Singh Tomar reiterated that the bill does not deal with MSPs and there is no need to worry about that. He said the Narendra Modi-led government had taken many steps aimed at doubling the farmers' income in the past 6 years. He said there is no need to doubt that the farmers will continue to get the minimum support price for their agriculture produce. Later, the House witnessed unruly scenes amid uproar, with the opposition demanding the adjournment of the proceedings for the day and the voting on the bills be taken up the next day. The Deputy Chairman, Harivansh, asked if the House agreed to extend the proceedings beyond 1 p.m. till the disposal of the bills. To this, the members of the opposition protested. Some members headed towards the well of the House despite repeated requests by the Deputy Chairman asking them to go back to their seats. The leader of the opposition, Ghulam Nabi Azad, said that the norm is that the House timing is extended on the basis of consensus, not numbers. He said that the consensus is that the House be adjourned for the day. However, the Deputy Chairman asked the Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister, Mr. Tomar, to wind up his speech amid commotion. Later, the bills were adopted by voice vote amid opposition protests. Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress and other opposition members shouted slogans against the government. Marshals were seen obstructing some opposition members from reaching the podium. Amid uproar, the Deputy Chairman adjourned the House briefly. When the House reassembled, the Deputy Chairman Harivansh took up voting on the bills. After the passage of the bills, the Deputy Chairman adjourned the House for the day. Matters of public importance were raised during the 0 hour. Rajmani Patel of Congress raised the issue of private schools charging hefty fees, while Manoj Kumar Jha of the RJD called for the need to find a permanent solution to the frequent flooding in Bihar. Bishwajit Demri of the BPF raised the matter of 5 men from Arunachal Pradesh being taken by the Chinese. He said Arunachal Pradesh is also tense like Ladakh. Saroj Pandey of the BJP raised the issue of Chhattisgarh not having fully implemented Ayushman Bharat. The members also raised matters through special mentions. They included Kamakhya Prasad Tasa of the BJP, Ravi Prakash Verma of the Samajwadi Party, Sambhaji Chhatrapati of the BJP, Jairam Ramesh of the Congress, and Prashanta Nanda of the BJD. And now a review of the proceedings in the Lok Sabha. The writer is Kumar Rakesh of PTI. Lok Sabha was adjourned for an hour today soon after it met in the afternoon as the Congress members demanded that the House proceedings should not take place till the Rajya Sabha galleries are cleared of the agitating members of the upper house. Due to the social distancing norms necessitated by the coronavirus pandemic, the members of the Lok Sabha have been allocated seats in the Rajya Sabha. The Congress and the opposition members of the Rajya Sabha were sitting on a dharna inside the chambers even after the House was adjourned for the day to protest farm sector bills passed by the upper house earlier. The Rajya Sabha sitting ends at 1 p.m. every day, following which the members from the Lok Sabha occupy the seats there at 3 p.m. The proceedings in the Rajya Sabha were extended today for the passage of 2 bills relating to the farming sector. As the Lok Sabha met at 3 p.m., Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary requested the Speaker Om Birla to adjourn the House till the stalemate in the Rajya Sabha ended. To this, Mr. Birla said that the Lok Sabha gallery is still empty and the members who have been allotted seats in the Rajya Sabha can take the vacant seats in the lower house. He also said that even if one member of the Lok Sabha is unable to attend, he will adjourn the House. Mr. Birla further said that since the COVID issue is listed for discussion in the House, if it is adjourned, then it will not give a good signal. Mr. Chaudhary said since the members sit in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha galleries to ensure social distancing due to COVID-19, the House should not function as members are not being allowed inside the upper house. The Speaker said that it has been a norm that the discussion of the happenings in the other house are not taken up in the Lok Sabha. However, Mr. Chaudhary argued that with members occupying both the houses for sitting purposes, it has now become 2 in 1. The Congress leader observed that the 2 houses have now become one, hence this rule does not apply. Kalyan Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress suggested that the Speaker make a request to all the members stuck outside the Rajya Sabha to come and sit in the vacant seats in the Lok Sabha. Mr. Chaudhary then said that the Lok Sabha should be adjourned for 2 hours. However, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said that as per the Speaker's suggestion, the House should function as the members want to discuss the COVID issue. Following persistent Congress demand, Mr. Birla adjourned the Lok Sabha proceedings till 4 p.m. The Minister of the State for Home Affairs, Nityanand Rai, introduced the Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2020, under which providing the Aadhaar numbers of the office bearers of any NGO will be mandatory for registration and public servants will be barred from receiving funds from abroad. The draft bill proposes that not more than 20% of the total foreign funds received could be spent on administrative expenses. Presently, the limit is 50%. The minister said the bill has been brought in view of the Supreme Court directives and aims at ensuring that no organization poses a threat to India's national security. He also sought to dispel doubts expressed by some opposition members saying that the bill does not target any particular group or organizations. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress said the bill is aimed at suppressing the voice of the government's critics. His party colleague Manish Tiwari said FCRA provisions should be made less stringent. The Lok Sabha also took up a discussion on the COVID-19 pandemic, and the opposition parties slammed the government for its handling of the disease. Shashi Tharoor of the Congress said the government was ill-prepared to deal with the crisis and claimed that the centre is using the pandemic to hide its failures. Kirit Solanki of the BJP lauded the government's handling of the pandemic, saying it ramped up health infrastructure across the country to deal with the situation. Rajiv Ranjan Singh of the JDU wondered if coronavirus was being pushed into Delhi every time the cases of infection came down in the national capital, as he claimed that the world is still debating if the virus is man-made or natural. Participating in the discussion on the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Singh said infections in Delhi go down sometime and then suddenly the numbers start rising. He asked if it is not the case that the virus is being pushed from outside into places where the numbers are declining. There is no finality to the debate over whether the virus is natural or man-made, he claimed, adding that it was not sure if the Health Minister Harsh Vardhan, who was sitting in the House, agrees with this contention or not. The leader of the JDU in Lok Sabha, who is better known as Laldan Singh, asked the opposition to give constructive suggestions to the government in dealing with the pandemic instead of wasting time on criticizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Singh said the more the opposition leaders criticize Mr. Modi, the more popular he becomes. He appreciated the government's decision to impose a nationwide lockdown to curb the pandemic. Mr. Singh said India has fared much better than the rest of the world in terms of the fatality rate and the recovery rate. That's all in the Parliament Review, and now it is back to you, Nishit.
Thank you, Gaurav. Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital, Delhi, will have partly cloudy sky. It will have a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and maximum of 37 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will hover between 25 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will be around 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 31 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 37 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be around 9 degrees, while the maximum will be 29 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 11 and 25 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 11 and 34 degrees Celsius. It will have mainly clear sky. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 16 and 36 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 24 and 34 degrees Celsius. The city will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Italian Open tennis, top-seeded Simona Halep has reached the finals of the women's singles, beating Garbiñe Muguruza 6-3, 4-6, 6-4 in the first semi-final clash today. The other semi-final will be played between last year's French Open runner-up Marketa Vondrousova against fellow Czech and defending champion Karolina Pliskova this evening. In the men's singles, the first semi-final match is underway between Novak Djokovic and Kasper Ruud. The other semi-final encounter will take place between Denis Shapovalov and Diego Schwartzman tonight. In IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals were 96 for 5 in 16 overs against Kings 11 Punjab at the Dubai International Stadium when reports last came in. Earlier, Kings 11 Punjab captain KL Rahul won the toss and opted to field against Delhi Capitals in the second match of the IPL 2020. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails passage of agriculture reform bills in Parliament, describes it as a watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture. Prime Minister reiterates that system of minimum support price and government procurement will continue. Union Minister Rajnath Singh condemns a ruckus created by opposition members in Rajya Sabha, accuses them of misleading farmers. COVID recovery rate improves to 79.68%. Prime Minister to lay foundation stone of 9 highway projects worth over 14,000 crore rupees in Bihar through video conferencing tomorrow. And in Italian Open tennis, Simona Halep reaches the final of the women's singles, beating Garbiñe Muguruza in the first semi-final clash. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.